something great. With kids like Kamin. Kamin is such an amazing kid, but not a lot of people see him the same way that I see him. They look at him as this kid that has various disabilities, but I knew if I just poured down into him, he would later on unlock his potential, the abilities that he can offer to the world. Welcome to Whole Creations. This is my friend Kamin's mom, Jennifer. She is amazing. She has a lot of wisdom to share with you guys, just about Kamin's life and just how he's overcome a lot. Reality is that he has a disability, but I know deep down that God created him for great abilities and for just a great purpose in life that we may not see at the moment, but I believe that God does have a purpose for Mr. Kamin and for his family.
When Kamin was first born, he had a normal birth, always a little hyperactive, like walking by 9 months, crawling by 5 months, but then he didn't really start talking. He would be like, or the other kids would be like, I want a soda, or I want punch, or I want candy. Kamin would go, me, and he had a lot of, more of the autistic qualities at that age. Yeah. And then his father did pass when he was 3. And honestly, I don't know what impact it had on Kamin. He was young, he wasn't verbal, he wasn't communicating, but he did have the anger issues. He was diagnosed at around 4 or 5 years of age with ADHD on the spectrum.
So coming from a mother's point of view, how did this make you feel?
Actually, I was kind of relieved because I'm like, okay, we know what he's got, and maybe we can, manage this. Right. No mother wants to hear that their child's special needs or whatnot, but like I said, it kind of came as a relief to me. That, okay, I know what this is, maybe we can fix it. So he has 2 siblings, David and Victoria, and David's 25 and Victoria is 17. They really don't have a good relationship, I feel, with Kamin because of it.
Tell us a little bit about how that makes you feel.
Yeah, it's hard because, I want them all to get along, of course, brothers and sisters, and it's hard because they're frustrated. Everybody's frustrated, and they don't really know how to handle it. And so it just makes me feel bad, but I know deep down inside that they'll always be there for each other. I mean, they show me that, and they love each other, and that's all that matters. I mean, they understand it, yeah, but it's just it's hard to live with. Yeah. No matter how much you love the person, they're still going to drive you nuts half the time. Yeah. I mean, it's just the way it is. You love them, you do anything for them, but they drive you crazy.
Yeah. I've been realizing in my own life that love is truly an action. It's not a feeling.
It's
because
true.
There are just some days where you're really generally not going to like somebody, but then it's a choice, and so.
I always say that, it's like I always say I don't like you, or like I'll tell Lance or my kids or anybody. Yeah. But I will never say that I don't love you, ever, ever. I'm like, yeah, I really don't like you right now. I really don't like you today.
I love that you're being authentic about that.
Yeah, that's how I've always been. Yeah. And I feel in my heart, I've done everything I can up to this point for Kamin. All the tears, all the appointments, all the tantrums, the breaking things, the getting expelled, everything. It's worth it. It's Kamin.
Tell us a little bit about the expulsions if you feel comfortable with that.
Kamin has no filter, and Kamin doesn't understand, the consequences of his actions. So he says things a lot of times that he shouldn't say. Right. And that with the violence, I mean, he's always had behaviors in class, right. Basically violence, saying things he shouldn't say, being mean to peers, hitting and whatnot. He has those sometimes he has to be restrained. So he said some things he shouldn't have said, and got him expelled one time, and then another time it was violence, destroying property and whatnot. But the thing is, the reason why I didn't agree with the expulsion was because for Kamin it was a vacation. Kamin's like, oh, okay, so all I have to do is be bad, and I get to stay home from school. As Kamin doesn't understand the consequences of being expelled. To him, it's, yay, I get to stay home.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what he said.
Yeah.
And so I go to the principal and I go, I understand, he's being violent and, he has to be, he's happy about it.
Yeah.
So can we maybe detention in the school or, something, that would really make Kamin think about, because he'll just do it again to, to just stay home from school. So Kamin's different in those ways.
You brought up something that's I feel like a lot of parents are probably dealing with their child and with school districts about it. These kids don't know the disciplinary. They think it's a vacation maybe, instead of realizing that it's, no, you're in trouble, you need to learn from this. And so it's like we're doing a disservice for them instead of actually helping them to grow. And so
that's how I feel.
I feel like a lot of other parents are going through that same exact thing themselves. So
yeah, I would think so.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us more about Kim's bullying experiences and how that's made you feel as a mother.
It's it's a terrible feeling. It's just terrible all around. You feel terrible for your child. You feel terrible for the child that's he's bullying, and it's really a heart-wrenching experience. And I just I know that if my kid came home all bloody and everything, I would just want to be like, but I understand the flip side of it. I understand, being the parent of that child who just outbursts like that and cannot control it, basically.
Yeah.
And there's no, so he gets in trouble afterwards. He's just going to do it again. He can't learn from the experiences. So I punish him, do what I can do, and then he goes out and he does it again just because that kid flips that switch. It's heart-wrenching. Like I said, there's no good feeling about it. I'm not proud my kid beat up the other kid. It's opposite. It's like it saddens me that my kid doesn't have the control, that he has to be like that, and what's going on in his mind must be really heart-wrenching.
Yeah.
To not be able to control yourself like that. On the other hand, Kamin's, he's so creative. He comes out here and he builds things and he does things in his own little mind. Sometimes he just kind of likes to be on his own, and I mean, what we think he's destroying everything, but sometimes I think in his mind he's building it up, even though we think he's destroying it.
Yeah. How is that for you when you see like him building these Legos and these electronics?
Oh, I think it's amazing. I think he's just so smart.
Yeah.
I mean, I think of him as an Einstein type.
Yeah.
That really smart genius, because I really think he's a genius.
Yeah.
That genius that can't come out of their house.
Yeah.
Type. You know what I mean? That's what I feel like. He's one of those laboratory people, but they can't go out in society because they just don't thrive there.
Yeah.
But they thrive in their little bubble, and I think that's kind of how Kamin is.
The night where the bowling happened, where we went bowling, it was amazing to see like how he was interacting with all those other people around him.
That was amazing.
It was his 13th birthday, and he was having fun out in the bowling alley and the cool lights and all that great stuff, and just the bowling alley people giving him a shout out. And so I just believe from the bottom of my heart that that's just a snippet of what God can do in Kamin's life for the future. And I'm not God, I don't know the future, but I do truly believe that there's great things to come in Kamin's life, and it's going to be a tough road ahead, no doubt about it.
No doubt.
But through it all, at the end of this, I believe that we're going to be like, it was all worth it, and I don't know. But I just believe from the bottom of my heart, God's going to do an amazing thing in Kamin's life, and each of your kids' lives out there, for all you mothers and fathers out there of a child with special needs. So,
given your experience and everything you've had with Kamin, to the mother out there or the other families out there that have a similar situation, what advice would you give them?
I would just have to say, just keep going. Don't do not give up on your child. No matter, don't listen to anybody. Just don't listen to anyone. Listen to your heart and your child, because you know what? No one knows them like you do. You have to be their advocate. They don't have anybody else.
yeah.
Nobody else knows your child like you. Deep down in your heart, you know that bully or that, whatever that child's going through is a good person, and you believe in that person, and you're the only one that does. And trust me, you got your teachers out there, and your workers, and your ABA therapists and whatnot. And some care, a lot, like Ryan, and some don't. It's just a job, but they can't advocate like for your child like you can. Nobody can. Pray, stay on top of it, and stay strong.
If you were to die today,